decision making based on any emotional state whatsoever, whether positive or negative, without the aid of cold, clinical, impartial reason to keep it in line, pretty much always sucks. I think the vast majority of my audience would see this as good wisdom, having probably lived to see the results of poor decisions made in their youth based on emotions. We've all done it. I include myself in this. Donald Trump is making a mistake right now, being buoyed up by all of the positive emotions from the result of the election. He is rushing through making the decisions for his cabinet, and he's going to regret it, and so will we. Now, just to be clear, I've got no problem with pretty girls at the beach. I've got no issue with there being women in government. But Donald Trump is making some very emotional decisions right now based on simply the idea of surrounding himself with those who are easy to look at. It's just that simple. How many of you remember way back in the 90s when you started to see the little video clips of Bill and Monica? Anybody with any level of emotional intelligence whatsoever knew, hey, wait a minute. Something's up with the body language with these two. I mean, he was in crowds with men and women all over the country, but when he was around her, she couldn't hide it for sure. And she was young. You can't really blame her. But everybody knew. Everybody knew. And I'm going to share something with you in this video that relates to this issue with Bill and Monica. And at the end of the video, if you stick with it, tell me if you think I'm wrong. But see my evidence first before you make a judgment call. Now, real quick, as always, thank you. God bless all of you who have joined us over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. It's keeping everything going right now. I'll be very honest with you. YouTube is still here, but it's not what it used to be. I'm sure a lot of you are like, you know, we don't see much from the Patriot Nurse anymore. Yeah, think about that. We haven't seen anything from Jennifer Veterans for Truth for well over a year. There's a reason. There's a reason it's become nearly impossible. The Patreon channel is what's keeping this channel going. $1 level, $5, $10, $15, whatever you can afford a month. Kick the tires. It's fully refundable for first 90 days, no questions asked. Hundreds of videos going back many years. God bless all of you. Thank you so much for being there. Very much appreciate it. Now, let's get right to it. I have made it a point to watch Mr. Trump's appointments very closely. And I've started to see a pattern. And almost a full day before he announced Pam Bondi, when not one single other channel and no news outlet was even talking about her, I said Donald Trump was going to pick Pam Bondi to be Attorney General when Gates had to step aside. And lo and behold, it came true, because the man has a pattern all the way to left here. It's a name nobody had even heard of hardly. A lot of people thought that Donald Trump was going to go with Joseph Ladapo, the Surgeon General from Florida that stood up for righteousness and truth back during COVID, but he chose this Jeanette Nishwat. A lot of people are like, who is that? But if you look at her, you can kind of see something. Dead center in the middle is a woman named Alina Habba, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this news. One of Trump's fire-breathing, super hot lawyers has now been named counselor to the president. We're going to show you something about her that's going to blow your mind. If you, I'm sure you haven't seen it, but if you're honest with yourself, and I'm going to need help from the ladies in my audience here to kind of maybe shake things loose with the men who aren't seeing it. Ladies will see it for sure. Let's keep going. Caroline Leavitt, right here, a little 27-year-old, curvy, caked-up blondie that he's picked for his White House spokesperson. Kari Lake now, next to her, ambassador to Mexico, doesn't even speak Spanish. Ambassador to Mexico doesn't even speak Spanish. Monica Crowley, and as disturbing as the information about Alina Habba is, you're going to really want to see what I have to share with you about Monica Crowley, who just got 3 titles 3 separate titles from Donald Trump not been reported. And of course, Tulsi Gabbard here, of course, looking all businesslike, but as we know, there's a lot more to it than just that. Now, let's do Monica Crowley real quick. Donald J. Trump, I am honored to nominate Monica Elizabeth Crowley, PhD, to serve as, ready for this, Ambassador, comma, Assistant Secretary of State, comma, and Chief of Protocol of the United States of America. Monica will be the administration representative for major U.S. hosted events, including America's 250th birthday, blah, 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 blah. First term, Monica did an incredible job as Assistant Secretary of the Treasury for Public Affairs under Steve Mnuchin. Now, you ready for this? Sit down. Sit down. Maybe grab a frosty cold beverage. You're not going to like this. Monica Crowley, former Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs. We covered this. Political commentator. Fox News contributor, I'm sure a lot of you have seen her, former online opinion editor for the Washington Times, and member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Let me reiterate, member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Wasn't that the big club that people were beating over the head of? Oh, who else was a member of the Council on Foreign Relations? Who else was a member of the Council? That's right. Tulsi Gabbard was also a member of the Council of Foreign Relations. Long time ago, this channel said, hey, you know who we should probably go for president? Ron DeSantis and Tulsi Gabbard, I think, would make a great team, given that, what happened in Florida with COVID and, her kind of more right-leaning conservative version of being a Democrat at that time, and I was just lambasted. She's a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Well, guess what? Guess what? Donald Trump just gave 3 titles to a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Oh, but it gets better. See, she was born at Fort Huachuca. I'm going to let you guys look up Fort Huachuca and see if you can figure out what the U.S. Army does there. If you've watched my videos for any amount of time, you'll know exactly what they do there. But it gets even better. Politics. March 2017. Are you still sitting down? Have you partaken in that frosty cold beverage yet? You're going to want to probably take another drink. Crowley joined the firm of Douglas Schoen as a part-time consultant providing outreach services on behalf of Ukrainian industrialist and political figure Viktor Pinchuk. Crowley registered as a foreign agent as required by the Foreign Agents Registration Act of 1938. Wow. Wow. Oh, but wait. There's more. Remember Alina Habba? Remember our special counselor to the president? Ladies, this is where you step in. I want you to look at these 3 pictures. If this was your husband, and this is what his lawyer showed up wearing, and how many of you have ever seen Donald Trump appear in pictures where he wasn't wearing a tie? I think you can count one hand, maybe. Well, here he is with Alina Habba, birthday party, private jet, and how many of you would, if you were married to a man and he had a lawyer, would tolerate her having a neckline that plunged nearly to her belly button as business attire? You see, this is the Monica moment. This is the Monica moment when you look at the body language. Still don't believe me? Still don't believe me? Guess who footed the bill for a huge, incredibly expensive birthday bash for Alina Habba at St. Bart's? Trump lawyer Alina Habba, luxurious 40th birthday bash in St. Bart's. There's a video under all celebs. I'll give you the link to this, and you can see the lavish layout that Donald Trump put out for her birthday. So just saying, things are a little weird here. Things are a little bit odd with him and his counselor to the president. And I haven't even gotten into Kelly Loeffler. I haven't gotten into Kristi Noem. His daughter-in-law is going to likely now be a senator for Florida. It just goes on and on and on. You see, I'm not saying the women aren't qualified. I'm saying that I don't think their qualifications even make it to his desk. I'm saying that basically, he takes one look at him, just like Ailes did. And even Ailes admitted it. Roger Ailes from Fox News. He had, and this was reported by Rush Limbaugh, God rest his soul, that, Ailes came out and said, look, if we're going to drive numbers to our news channel and, compete with CNN, MSNBC, and the mainstream media, we're going to have to put eyeballs on our channel. We're going to have to put eyeballs on our channel, and they know how to do it. Member of the Director of National Intelligence, member of the Council on Foreign Relations, former Democrat, CFR member, Director of National Intelligence. Monica Crowley, another Council on Foreign Relations member, ambassador, Assistant Secretary of State, and Chief of Protocol. How many of you remember Heather Nauert? Trump's first press secretary way back in 2016, another hot blondie. Got a huge promotion over the State Department. Working with Pompeo. It's just, ladies, come on. Seriously? Look at this. Look at this with a very discerning eye. And what do you see? What do you really see? Something ain't quite right here. Something is just a little bit off. And when you put this in the context of Pam Bondi also having been a former lawyer of Mr. Trump, and Jenna Ellis, go look her up. And there was another one that he had that was just absolutely unbelievably hot. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And you may not care, and that's fine, but you got to learn to separate business and pleasure. You can't go to the beach and start, saying, oh, I'm going to hire that one and that one and that one and that one based on how they look in a bikini. Decision making based on emotional intuition without the aid of reason to keep it in line pretty much always sucks. So, just saying. You got to use your brain. Got to use your brain to make decision making. I make videos on YouTube. Yeah, I show those pictures, but I'm not running the government. I use those pictures to prove a point. You wouldn't want a 19 and 20-year-old, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old boy, making decisions based on that. It's, it is what it is, I guess. So, there's another video out here. I'll give you this link where it shows about a 58-second interaction, live video with Bill Clinton and Monica. And when you watch it, you're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, you would think it was his wife, the way he was interacting with her in this crowd. Everybody saw it. Everybody saw it. So I will leave it there. God bless. Thank you, everyone who showed up to the Patreon channel. I very, very much appreciate it. Even single dollar helps. Every single dollar helps. Makes a huge, huge difference in my life. It's, working 60 hours a week and then on top doing the videos as well. It gets taxing, so pray for me. I'll pray for you. Pray for each other. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.